Rebel salute to everybody who was out there. This is Kenya Revolutionary. How you guys doing today? The topic of the day is Julius Malema. Is he a fraud? A fraud? Maandamano, is it eminent? Are we going to have Maandamano next week? We were supposed to have a Maandamano today, actually. I'm yet to find out what went on about that. And lastly, why I am not a Pan-Africanist. I am a Kenyan revolutionary. And we shall get down to the definitions, okay? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, brothers, sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, as you know, let me just sip this wonderful coffee. I have to get coffee. I have to get coffee because you have to. I'm about to have this discussion. I'll stay here for 30 minutes or maybe less. I'm not really, all the way there today, but I'll try, okay? So tune in. For those who want to join me, if you want to join me, I always invite anyone to join the discussion. You can join the studio. I will drop the link in a second. Let me just see what's going on over here. I'm not yet on. I don't see myself on X. What's going on? Let's see. I'm not on X yet. But anyway, I should be live on X. I don't know what's going on. What's going on? All right, hold on, guys. I have to do a little bit of adjustments. But let me drop the link for those of you who would like to join the studio to challenge me on what I'm saying, or want to add a view, regardless of what your view is. I don't care. You can get in and speak your mind, speak your piece. Okay? Let me drop the link for those of you who would like to join the discussion. My name is Kenya Revolutionary, as you know. All right. Hold on. There you go. All right, there's the link. It's in the chat for those of you who are on YouTube. I'm on YouTube Live right now. There's the link. If you want me to highlight it, there you go. That's the link. Write it up, write it down, click it through what is it called? StreamYard, and you can get in the studio. And I'll have you join in and we can have this discussion, okay? But to the topic at hand, I'm trying to upload a video so that we can there's something that I want us to discuss today, which is very important. Let's tackle this Julius Malema thing. Julius Malema is a famous character that hails from the great South Africa. He's the chairman, I think the leader of the EFF, Economic something. I forgot. That's chairman of South Africa. And he's in Kenya currently on a 3-day visit. And he made some interesting pronouncements regarding the Kenyan president, which I agree, okay? He mentioned, I'm trying to present something here. There's a video that I'm trying to play. So ladies and gentlemen, if you so if you can bear with me. I don't know what I'm doing exactly, but okay, I think I know what I'm doing. Woo, Lord. Just bear with me. Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to work on something here because I'm about to play a video by Julius Malema that involves Julius Malema. Yes, okay. All right. What am I doing? Yes. All right. There you go. All right, guys. Here's the video. Let's just watch the video real quick and see.
Sure. When they love you the way they love Julius, when he goes to see the Queen, when the allegations that Julius actually
sorry.
They treat you like that. Sure. When they love you the way they love Julius, when
sorry, guys.
He goes to see the Queen, when the allegations that Julius actually got given money by the Queen and it was cleared by the Reserve Bank of South Africa that blocks any other monies that come to any other person that they don't approve of. which apparently was one of the major reasons he fell out with Winnie Mandela, is that he got this money, didn't share it with Winnie, didn't tell Winnie about it. This is when you realize that Julius is compromised. He's not a Pan-African. He's not out for the struggle. And lastly, anybody with Pan-African credentials understands that the proxy war for Pan-Africa, especially the soft war, is being fought in Zimbabwe. Reason Zimbabwe is under sanctions, reason the United States declared 3 national emergencies against a small little country like Zimbabwe and declared it a threat, is because Zimbabwe has taken land and is changing the very same law I told you, the 1454 law of discovery. Julius will bash the ZANU-PF government that is fighting a war for land that he says he wants to undertake.
Okay.
Welcome back. Great to have you with us.
I will. That's huge. That's huge right there. I would like to play it again because this is.
They treat you like that.
Let's go. Just
when they love you the way they love Julius, when he goes to, they treat you like that. Sure. When they love you the way they love Julius, when he goes to see the Queen, when the allegations that Julius actually got given money by the Queen and it was cleared by the Reserve Bank of South Africa that blocks any other monies that come to any other person that they don't approve of, which apparently was one of the major reasons he fell out with Winnie Mandela, is that he got this money, didn't share it with Winnie, didn't tell Winnie about it. This is when you realize that Julius is compromised. He's not a Pan-African. He's not out for the struggle. And lastly, anybody with Pan-African credentials understands that the proxy war for Pan-Africa, especially the soft war, is being fought in Zimbabwe. Reason Zimbabwe is under sanctions, reason the United States declared 3 national emergencies against a small little country like Zimbabwe and declared it a threat, is because Zimbabwe has taken land and is changing the very same law I told you, the 1454 law of discovery. Julius will bash the ZANU-PF government that is fighting a war for land that he says he wants to undertake.
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, we've seen that, and that's some interesting stuff. That's a very, very, very interesting. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. But I've known about this video, to be honest with you. This is not the first time that I've watched that video, and I've always been skeptical of Julius Malema because, for somebody who says very controversial stuff regarding, whether it's the Boers in South Africa, and he's still alive. I've always wondered, how is this guy still alive? Like, how is he just moving around? He still goes to London, England, makes moves around freely without any kind of trouble, Because historically, if you're a true, not only a Pan-Africanist, I hate using that word because it has been misused by so many people, and it has lost its meaning for me, at least to me. I think I don't care much about that definition. But Julius Malema, okay? Now I come to him, then there's something that he said today that actually really caught my attention. And I'll play that video too, because I think it's important for us to see what this guy is all about. He kind of backtracked, softened up his tone after what he said when he arrived at JKIA. But let me play you that video so you can, I think this is from, all right. Let me just play the second video, then I will give you my point of view on that. Okay, so let me find it first. Malema. Okay, so bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Bear with me. All right, we'll analyze this for a second. Okay. So let me go back and let's do this. Are you guys ready today is just right. Okay, ready? All right, let's do it. There's the second video that I want to play. I want to play you guys. Sorry, this is from today.
Recording just got better.
Sorry, that's the commercial.
Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local.
Very much, program director and leaders of the youth and students and young parliamentarians and young senators. I'm very happy to be here and always very happy to speak to the future of the African continent, because that's where I come from. I come from what we called the Young Pioneers. The Young Pioneers was an organization of children in the ANC. It used to be called Masupatsila. That's where we're taught struggle songs. That's where we're taught how to recite poems. That's where we were inculcated with, and then I became the youth leader. Since of the incumbency, young people is that when they say you are a leader of the youth in Raila Odinga's party, there must be a difference between the youth in Raila Odinga's party and the leadership of the mother body. So the mother body has got a duty to always call you to order. So because you've got energy, you must demand that things must be done, and they must be done now. And the elders will always drag their feet because they've been there like you, being impatient and then deciding, these things are what they are, anyway, they won't change. You must come and push them to change. You must never, ever allow elders to make mistakes without you, the young ones, calling them out. So when the elections were run here in Kenya, results were announced, there was a threat of violence. And we know what happened in the previous elections here in Kenya, where people died because of elections. Why should elections in Africa be associated with death? Because democracy is not death. Democracy, by all means, is a right to live and live a beautiful life. And most of the comrades in the Comrade Raila Odinga's party were not happy with me when I said, you're not going to do violence in the name of elections and in the name of Honorable Raila Odinga. Because no one must die after elections. Even when Raila Odinga is robbed and cheated with clear evidence, no one must die. Robbed with evidence, daylight, no one must die. Why should people die because you are robbed elections? There are systems in Kenya where dispute can be made, and then once the final arbiter makes a final decision, whether we're happy with it or we're not happy with it, we must accept it. Those clowns in America, they rob each other all the time. Huh? I mean, Trump was feeling like he's being robbed. He even said, stop counting, stop counting, stop the counting. Because he said he was being robbed. Then they went to storm whatever they stormed, but they came back to their senses. No. It's not done like that in America, where we storm things and people die in the name of elections. So if we say we are equal like them, we want to be at the same level with them, violence is not an option on the basis of electoral outcome. Must never be. Why is violence not an option? It's going to be black on black violence. And you can't say you're a Pan-Africanist and be willing to kill another African based on elections. If it is meant to be for President Raila Odinga to become president of Kenya one day, no amount of cheating will stop that. They can succeed now. It will eventually happen. So those who are not happy with me say, get out of Kenya politics. Kenya, this is not South Africa. This is my home. This is my politics. Kenya's politics are my politics. The same way the politics of South Africa are yours. Any destabilization in any corner of Africa affects us. I celebrate the victory of Niger as if it's mine. Because anything that drives the French out of our continent is worth celebrating by all of us. And that's why I celebrate that. Now, the ones of President Ruto are also not happy with me. Because I said, why would you say you are a Pan-Africanist? Because Pan-Africanism is necessitated by the fact that we are an oppressed nation. We're a dejected nation. We're a rejected nation as Africans. That everyone else who's rejected should find sympathy in us because we know what being rejected means. Now, Palestinians are being rejected, are being isolated, they are being killed on their own land.
Let me pause it right here because he's going to mention about Ruto, supporting Israel, which I agree with him on that. That he shouldn't have. Ruto should not. If anything, he should stay partial. Or if Ruto is really pro justice, the Palestinians are the ones who are being oppressed. But that's not what I have qualms with Mr. Julius Malema. Let me just go back to bring the string back. I hope you got something out of it. But anyway, let me just unpack what Mr. Julius Malema is saying. Malema is arguing that, and he contradicts himself because what he's saying is just does not make sense to me. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Number one, he says that elections in Africa should not be associated with death, meaning that every time we have an election, violence should not occur, okay? Because, it's black on black crime. It's black on black, crime, yes. So in his view, if Raila loses an election, and by what he's saying, he's mentioning it as if the election, this past election, I don't know which election he was referring to, but if he's referring to the past election, the 2022 elections, and he says that it was Raila was being cheated in broad daylight. The election was being stolen in broad daylight. If that's what he's insinuating or just saying, that those past elections were stolen from Raila Odinga in broad daylight, to use his words, then Mr. Julius Malema should do his homework, okay? Do his due diligence in Kenyan politics. Because he tells us that Kenyan politics is his politics, and South African politics is our politics. So before he says that the elections in 2022, these past elections were stolen in broad daylight from Raila Odinga, Julius Malema should do his due diligence, okay, before making those pronouncements. Number two, on the issue of violence that he's saying that we shouldn't associate elections with death, he is right in principle, but it's more nuanced than that, okay? People just don't get violent because somebody lost elections, okay? Yes, that occurs, but there's a reason behind it. I can take the case of 2007, when Kibaki stole the elections. Yes, he stole the election in that one, and it was so obvious. People took to the streets and picked up arms, and some people wanted to settle scores that to settle the historical injustices that has happened in Kenya. For example, the Rift Valley. It was unfortunate that the Kalenjins were attacking the Kikuyus that lived in the Rift Valley because they felt like Rift Valley was their land. So they pushed them off their land and, committed atrocities against the Kikuyus. I can go so forth, so forth. I'm not isolating that incident to make Kalenjins look bad. I'm just giving an example, okay? So it's more than just people killing each other because of stolen elections. Now, here's what, after he says that people should not associate elections with death, and he spoke against the violence, post-election violence, the violence that usually occur during elections. And that if you heard him right, he said that if it was meant for Raila Odinga to become president, it will happen regardless, okay? It will not, it's not about cheating. Even if they cheat him out of the elections, it will not be stopped. He will become president one day if it was meant to be. But Mr. Julius Malema, let me correct you, because in the same breath, he just mentioned Burkina Faso and Mali, I think, the coup d'etat with Ibrahim Traore that happened in West Africa. Okay? What he failed to understand and didn't explain is that in Burkina Faso with Ibrahim Traore, there was no elections. It was a popular military coup d'etat. Okay? The French puppet that was the president, okay, he rigged himself year in, year out, every electioneering year. He always rigged himself back to office, and he was still being supported and sponsored by the French. So the military made a decision to forcefully remove him from power. Now, some of you might argue that it was an illegal act. Military coup d'etat is an illegal act. Guess what? Rigging election is also an illegal act. Okay? So, and if you can remember, Mr. Julius Malema, military coup d'etat, for the most part, are never bloodless. People shed blood when military coup d'etat happens. People lost lives. There was death during that process of the coup d'etat. Okay? We can go on and on and on. I mean, the military coup d'etat that happened in Congo when Patrick Lumumba was taken off the office by Mobutu Sese Seko. It was not an innocent, peaceful military coup d'etat. They shot Patrick Lumumba to death. Okay? So what I'm saying is this. I'm not advocating. I'm with you in principle that after elections, regardless of whether you have been rigged in or rigged out, okay, I would love to see that there's a peaceful way of resolving electoral injustice. But again, that's why I say Mr. Julius Malema should do his homework. Okay? If the courts are compromised, okay, if the legislative body is compromised, every avenue, constitutional avenue that one can take to get justice regarding electoral process, if all those avenues have failed, then you can go to the streets. You take the power back to the people, and people will go and protest on the streets peacefully as it is in the Constitution. All right? Now, the reason why I don't agree with him where he says everything has to always be peaceful. No, it does not have to be peaceful. And that's why I mentioned the case of Burkina Faso with Ibrahim Traore. Okay, the French president, I mean the former president of Burkina Faso, who was backed by the French, had been rigging elections every year, every electioneering year. Okay, so they got tired of that, and guess what? They used military means to get him out. Sometimes violence works. Sometimes violence is needed. Okay? Unfortunately, it is usually used by the bad guys to gain power. You can go read the book again. I don't know how many times I should give you a reference in this. Okay? The Confessions of Economic Hitman by John Perkins, the former CIA guys. Okay? That conducted, I don't know how many coup d'etats, bloody coup d'etats that CIA financed to prop up their colonial puppets. Okay, that's what I mean. How do you expect to take out somebody like Mobutu Sese Seko, who was propped up by the CIA? You don't negotiate with people like that. These murderous dictators. You have to take them out by using the very same means that they took the previous president. You don't negotiate with an animal. You have to speak to the animal by the language that the animal understands. Fidel Castro did not take over Cuba through negotiations and going through the courts. Okay? Some of you can say, oh, it was a popular revolution. You are forgetting. Fidel Castro, after trying the legal way by using the constitution, he failed. He tried to have a civilian coup and he failed. So he went to the mountains and recruited people from all over South America and raised up his army and came back and spoke the language that the animal can only understand, which is through force, violence. Violence by itself is not a bad thing. It's not pretty. It should be the last resort, but it is necessary in some cases. It is necessary. Okay? So Fidel Castro tried everything and he went and formed his militia and he came back and removed the, what's his name? The American puppet, the CIA propped up leader of Cuba that was there before. And he took over. I can give you numerous examples of that. So Julius Malema, before you open your mouth and criticize Kenya, okay, do your homework. Now, I agree with you that Ruto is a puppet. You too are a puppet, Julius Malema. I told you. And this whole idea of what do you call it? Boundary, or what do you call it? An Africa that has no boundaries. I'm against it. I know Ruto is saying that now African countries should not, well, Rwanda, the Rwandese president, Kagame, said that anybody from African continent can go to Rwanda without visa. Okay? This is the whole idea of the global elites. They want this. They want a one world government. They don't want individual sovereign nations. Even before the Europeans, the colonizers came to Africa, we had land, tribal lands, okay? The Zulus used to negotiate with the Xhosa, the Nkosa, okay? When there was a dispute, when they went to war, after the war, okay? They knew the boundaries, the Bantu land, okay? The Zulu land, the Kikuyu land, the Luo land, the Somali land, okay? All the tribes in Africa, some of them were nomadic tribes like the Maasai who, you know, you lived a pastoralist lifestyle and they moved from here to there. But they negotiated with the tribe that was there before they brought their cows to graze on their land. Okay? So I don't support this idea of a borderless Africa. Every country, even though the Europeans and the colonizers came and set up boundaries and propped up countries, we should maintain them. We should have sovereign nations. There's an importance. It is important to have a sovereign nation. We can't just be bulked as one. Look at the European Union. Okay? Let's use NATO, for example. It's been 30 minutes. I'll stop. I'm about to stop. Let me just finish up with this. The countries that join NATO, some of them want to leave NATO. The countries that join the European Union, some of them want to leave the European Union. Because once you give up your sovereign power, anything goes. You lose your power. Your land is no longer your land. Your money becomes worthless. Somebody else make a decision for you. Okay? And that's what's happening in the farmers in Europe. That's why you see England, Britain left with a Brexit. So this whole idea of a borderless Africa, we should reject it. I'm not going to identify myself as a Pan-African because I think the word is being misused. There's a lot of sellouts that use the word Pan-Africans. I would rather use revolutionaries, people who rebel against injustice. Okay? Because every Tom, Dick, and Jerry calls themselves Pan-Africanists. Even King Charles will even call himself Pan-Africanist. So you can have that term. I would rather identify myself as a revolutionary, one who stands against injustice. There are two kinds of people in this world. One that does not care about justice. They're all about greed, money, power. No morals at all. No respect for the spirit world. And there's one that care about the principle and the idea of brotherhood of men, where humanity, justice, equality is things that we value. Okay? So Julius Malema, answer, did you receive money from the Queen of England? You've been a suspect for a while. To me, Julius Malema is simply fighting for the spotlight. Him and Ruto for who is going to be the top colonial stooge. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been 30 minutes. I will stop here. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe. It's Kenyan Revolutionary, and find me on YouTube. Subscribe, share, like, comment, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.